Bob Arum was the problem on the reason why Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford didn't fight, why didn't Terrence Crawford make the fight immediately after leaving? Let's talk.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the greats, the best competition.
Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Yo, it's the best, fight the best. If you ain't with the moto, just click the link, bitch, and get buried like the rest. It ain't gonna work how you want it. These trolls already tried, too many come but don't leave. So if you hear, you gotta die. I'm spitting straight facts. These bitches crying cause they hate that. The LDBC's the top topic, bitch, hate that. We the ones that bring the truth to these fans. So while you hate, I'ma laugh and keep counting these bands. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link, get prepared to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you.
Welcome to the graveyard.
So Terrence Crawford said the reason why he left Bob Arum is because Bob Arum couldn't get him the big fights. Well, if he couldn't give me the fights when I was with him, then how he gonna get them for me, right now? So I'm gonna be moving on. Okay, well, if Bob Arum couldn't get you the fights, and that's why you left Bob Arum. So are you telling me the fight you wanted was David Ambrosia and Alexis Rocha? Are those the fights that Bob Arum couldn't get you? I'm confused at why did you leave Bob Arum if only to fight David Ambrosia and Alexis Rocha? Why did you leave him? Because you're fighting the exact same competition. Or could it be because you're fighting the same competition making more money? Is that the case? Because I'm confused. Because that's not what you said for the reason why you left Bob Arum. The reason why you left Bob Arum is because he couldn't get you the big fights. That's what you said. Sitting right next to him. Not looking at him, but sitting right next to him. After saying, well, I know it's hard. All right, well, you were sitting right there next to that man. When he was shitting on you, sitting right there next to that man. But mysteriously now, you haven't made Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, not even a Mikey Garcia, Adrian Broner. You've made 0 fights, 0 big fights, 0. So what was the point of leaving? You've made 0, bro. Not one fight. Not one fight that we want to see have you made. Not one. When Floyd Mayweather left Bob Arum, he fought Oscar De La Hoya. Facts. He bought himself out of his contract and made the biggest bag of his career and became the A-side to every fighter moving forward since. You left Bob Arum and fought David Amniotic Fluid. I'll sit here like, wait a minute, bro. So we're just going to act like this man didn't say the reason why he left Bob Arum is because he couldn't get the big fights? So was the big fight Amniotic Sac, David Amniotic Sac and Alexis Rocha? Are those the big fights that you were talking about you wanted to get? Because I'm confused. Oh, man, he wanted to get Errol Spence, but, Errol Spence was playing around, wouldn't give him transparency. Well, I've already refuted that because he did give him transparency. So why didn't he sign it, bro? Why didn't he do the exact same thing that Floyd Mayweather did? You had an opportunity. Why didn't you do the same thing? Why didn't you be the B-side, take the B-side, take whatever was given to you, beat Errol Spence, become the A-side forevermore? Why didn't you do that? It's right there in your face. It was right there for you. You turned it down. So why didn't you take it? Floyd Mayweather didn't get transparency. Floyd Mayweather got what Oscar gave him. Period. He got what he was given. Ask him. When I left Toprank, I didn't pick nothing. Oscar picked everything. He gave me the split. He picked the gloves, the location. Yeah, Floyd didn't pick nothing. He fought. That's it. Floyd picked nothing. Oscar gave him everything. Oscar was the A-side. Oscar dictated terms to everything. Floyd took what he was given in the, at that time, largest, highest grossing fight in boxing history. And he took 25%. You got 35%. You got 35. You got 10% more than what Floyd got. So you're better than Floyd? You got 10% more and turned it down because you wanted more. So I'm trying to figure out, what are the big fights that you're trying to fight then? I'm totally confused. Because there's Boots. Oh man, you can't fight Boots. Boots, Errol mandatory. So? Just because Boots is Errol Spence's mandatory doesn't mean that Bud can't fight him. What does that mean? So because he's Errol Spence's mandatory, he's just, that's it. He's not, that's it. I can't fight him now. If he wasn't Errol Spence's mandatory, I will fight him. But since he is, I'll fight him. Well, Louis King Kong Ortiz was Anthony Joshua's mandatory. And Deontay Wilder fought the man twice. That didn't stop Deontay Wilder from fighting Ortiz. That was not his mandatory at all. He was the mandatory to Anthony Joshua. He was the mandatory to Tyson Fury. He was the mandatory to Vladimir Klitschko. He was not the mandatory to Deontay Wilder. So what does that mean that, oh man, Boots can't fight Boots because he's a mandatory? You can't fight him? What? You can't jump in with Keith Thurman? You've been calling for this man for all this time. You can't. Oh, well, Keith Thurman's about to fight Errol Spence. Well, where is this at? Well, make him a better deal. You can't make him a better offer. You're your own boss. You can't make him a better offer. What are we doing right now? I don't understand. We can't fight Keith Thurman. No, Keith Thurman about he Errol Spence mandatory. You won't just fight Errol Spence, man. That's all. We won't just fight Errol Spence. Well, you have an offer. You turned it down. The fuck were you? What you guys be? Oh, won't just fight Errol Spence. You had an offer. You had a contract. You turned it down. So why don't you just take what you was offered? Well, can't do that now because yesterday's price is not today's. You fought ambrosia, man. You fought amniotic fluid. So now when you go back to the table, when Errol Spence spends the block, you have to show those numbers too. Yeah, and guess what? In negotiations, no one gives a fuck what you made. No one cares. Oh man, he made $10 million to fight Ambrosia, so you got to give him what he made. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. It's the negotiations are the exact same thing. Your paychecks are irrelevant to me. If I'm the network and I'm putting up the money, I don't give a fuck what you was paid. I don't care. If your paycheck is so relevant to you, then go back and fight with BLK. Go back over there then. They gave you the highest purse, according to you, according to Bud Dick Riders. Go back over there then. If I'm telling you, I'm as a network, I am only willing to put up this amount of money. That's all I'm doing. This is the number I'm willing to put up. If 35% of that, or now maybe 25%, if 25% of that is not good enough, then go back over to BLK then. Try to rob them again. Try to rob them for another 10 million. Because yesterday's price is not today's price. You must bring those numbers from BLK to the table the same way, the same reason why you got that 35%. Don't worry about it. BFTB will talk about that in another one. when I talk about my yesterday's price, it's not today's price, morning grind. I'll talk about that then. But listen, bro, who are you fighting? Signing with Golden Boy that's the big fights that Bob Arum couldn't get for you. He couldn't get you Alexis Rocha, Blair Cobb, and Virgil Ortiz. Those are the big names that you're looking for. Those ones, those are the giant names, bro. Well, what makes Blair Cobb a big name? What makes Alexis Rocha a big name? What makes Virgil Ortiz a big name? What? They both beat Maurice Hooker, Blair Cobb, and Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz stopped motherfucking Green Beans the same way you did. So what are we talking about? Green Beans dropped both of y'all niggas. So what are we talking about? What pay-per-views is Virgil Ortiz on where we can say, Virgil Ortiz, man, he a big fighter, man. Virgil Ortiz, he a big name right there. What pay-per-views? How are y'all justifying this? Now, I say Virgil Ortiz is one of the best. I believe that. He's one of the best at the welterweight. But when we're talking about big names, shit, Speedy Rashidi is one of the best. He's not a big name. Your Dennis Ugas is one of the best. He's not a big name either. But they are one of the best. So you said you couldn't get the big names, the big fights. That's the reason why you left Bob Arum. Okay, so who are the big names and big fights that you're making right now? Who? Because you left Bob Arum where you was fighting bums and has-beens and Cal Brook and Sean Porter. You left that to fight David Ambrosia and Alexis Rocha. Oh man, the only reason why he fight Alexis Rocha because, you know, Alexis Rocha is mandatory, man. It's mandatory. You got to fight is mandatory. That's the only reason why, because this is mandatory. Fine, okay, no problem. Well, Carlos Ocampo was Errol Spence's mandatory. Why are y'all shitting on that? Oh man, Ocampo's a bum. Ocampo lost to Errol Spence and went on a 12-fight win streak and went the distance with Fundora. What fighter did that for Terrence Crawford after Terrence Crawford beat him? Which one? Which one went on a 12-fight win streak and went the distance with a killer at a bigger weight class? Which one? Postal? Because Postal was the most technical fighter that Terrence Crawford fought. Well, Gary Antoine Russell demolished that man. So who we talking about? Who we talking about? Okay, all right, whatever. So I'll ask this question again. If Terrence Crawford left Bob Arum because Bob couldn't get him the big fights, then what big fight is Terrence Crawford fighting in? BFTB, shout to the mighty LDBC, and I'm out.